Well, hello. My name is Ryan Kelly, and I am the president and founder of the Home Loan Expert and the Keep Climbing Foundation. Although most folks around St. Louis know us for the loans that we do, we are also very dedicated to serving our community. 8 years ago, we launched an initiative called Climb for the Kids. The idea was simple. Go out and climb some amazing mountains and raise dollars in awareness for children battling life-threatening disease. Over the years, the mountains that we've climbed have grown, and so has our initiative. In fact, last year, we launched the Keep Climbing Foundation, a full 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to raising dollars and awareness for children battling life-threatening disease and our military. Although all of our climbs have been very special and impactful, there was something very special about 2019. It was our 5th annual Climb for the Kids, and we were going to attempt to summit a 19,000-foot supervolcano named Cotopaxi. About a week before we left for Ecuador, our close friend Alec Ingram lost his battle with cancer. There were a lot of conversations about postponing the climb, canceling it altogether. But in talking with Alec's parents, we made the decision that that climb must go on. Now we knew that this climb would be much different than all of the others, but we continued on. We got on the plane and we headed down to Ecuador. On the 9th day, as we were approaching the summit of Cotopaxi, back home, they were laying to rest Alec Ingram, a 14-year-old boy who lost his battle with cancer. On the way down from the summit, we knew we had to do even more. We had to raise even more dollars and more awareness for children just like Alec battling the sick disease of childhood cancer. And that's where the idea came for this film project, Switching the Summit. The title of the film that you're about ready to watch, Switching the Summit, comes from the idea that only 4% of funding actually goes towards researching and developing cures for childhood cancer. We don't believe that 4% is enough. In reality, that they should switch it around so that 96% of funding goes towards researching and creating cures for childhood cancer. As you're watching the film, we sure hope that you agree that 4% is just not enough and that we must do more. You can scan the QR code right on the screen or text the word CLIMB to 53555 and make a donation today to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
The great mountains of South America, like Cotopaxi, 19,000 feet high, are very different. These volcanoes, some active, some dormant, are not isolated peaks, but part of a continuous range that runs the whole length of the continent.
Okay, so you should probably know this isn't a story about Cotopaxi. Well, it is, but it isn't. Let's back up.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for playing.
I wanted to say thank you to,
The reason why we're even in Cotopaxi is because of him. And her. Without them, we wouldn't have any footage of this guy. This is Ryan Kelly.
We're here at the world-famous Jose Rivas Refugee. It's at 6.
Ryan climbs a mountain every year to help raise money for awareness for pediatric cancer. But this isn't a story about him either. It's bigger than that. Bigger than this mountain. It's big, and it's sad. But it doesn't have to be. And maybe someday it won't. But before we get to that, let's learn how we got here.
Scene 3, take 1, marker.
I am Jen Ingram, and this is my husband, Chris. We are Alec Ingram's parents. Alec was diagnosed with osteosarcoma bone cancer in 2015 at the age of 9 years old. Alec had mentioned only a couple times that his arm had hurt. It was in his right humerus where he ended up being diagnosed with bone cancer. Blew it off and said growing pains. We went a couple weeks later. We have a trampoline in the backyard, and he was jumping on the trampoline, and he put his arms down on the trampoline, and he started screaming how much it hurt. We thought maybe he broke his arm, but it wasn't even, he didn't land on it in any funny way or anything like that. We took him to urgent care, and after they did x-rays, the tech at that point looked at the x-ray, and in the room I remember the tech walking out saying, "Hold on just a second." And he walked out and came back in with the doctor to technically look at the x-ray on the screen. And my sister and I looked at each other thinking, this is really weird. He told us, oh, Monday morning, just go in and see this bone specialist here. It's a cyst is what he thinks as well. So just sling it right now. We're not even putting a cast on it. We're just gonna sling it and you're gonna go see him, and that's that.
Didn't
And
think
I said,
much
okay.
of it at all.
I did not even know bone cancer was a thing. I didn't even know it existed.
Neither of us did.
I didn't.
As a
Cancer
family?
was not in my brain at all. So the doctor told me that this was very serious. She kept looking at me going, do you realize how serious this was? And I was like, okay, I don't, I guess. I still kept looking at her puzzled. But then when she introduced the nurse that was the actual cancer bone mass specialist, then I went, and then it kind of hit me, like, you think this could be cancer. And like I said, Alec was already out of the room, and they all kind of just went, yes.
And at that point in time, you talk about a life-changing situation that you can't ever explain.
They immediately scheduled us
We
for
could
a
sit here and
biopsy.
try to talk about it all day long. We could sit here and try to explain it to people. But childhood cancer is real, and it is something that needs to be addressed.
Nothing about pediatric cancer makes biologic sense. Like, no child should get cancer. And it also doesn't make logical sense. It's something that nobody can really wrap their head around. And I think that the vast majority of time, in the top 3 questions that parents ask when they find out about a new diagnosis is, how did this happen? And very, very rarely do I have a how or a why, which is frustrating. And the way that we treat pediatric cancer is different. There's not as much funding for pediatric cancer. Some of that has to do with there's not as much money to be made in pediatric cancers, because even though in my world it's very common, the vast majority of people never interact with a child that has cancer. But we all know adults that have had cancer. So from a pharmacology standpoint, like who's making the drugs, all of that, there's not as much money to be made in that. So there's not as much research. All of those sort of things play into it. So we lag behind in pediatric cancers.
When you think about it, childhood cancer is not just like one type of cancer. It's not just like pancreatic cancer. It's not colon cancer. It's not, brain cancer. Like, there are 16 different major groups and 100 different subtypes. So when you're only getting 4% of funding towards that, how are you even supposed to research what to treat these kids with?
Do you want a banana? It's a good source of potassium.
Yeah, all right.
Yes, so Cotopaxi is the second highest mountain here in the country. It's 19,347 feet high. The main challenge when climbing Cotopaxi is going to be the altitude. The last 700 feet are going to be steeper in comparison to the rest of the route. It's going to be 35 up to 40 degrees on snow. Hopefully the weather cooperates and we can enjoy the beauty of the mountain itself. It's immense crater and the big mountains around it.
So April's going to be working on the paperwork to make it official. We're going to hire you, legit hire you at the Home Loan Expert office. You'll be an employee like everybody else. You're going to enjoy it. That's your first payroll check from our company at the Home Loan Expert LLC.
For all your good advice.
I'm going to need some good advice from you over the next few months because I got a lot going on, okay? Think you can handle handle that?
It's your first job.
You got your first legit job.
I'll follow your lead. 18,000 children will be diagnosed with cancer next year.
That's really sad.
Yeah, and 1,700 will die, and they never had a chance to live like this and do these kind of things. You know, I'm 44 years old. If I get diagnosed with cancer, it is what it is. I've lived a full life, you know, but these children, they haven't. And that's why I fight for the kids. So, let's march. Want to trek down?
Okay.
The year after I was diagnosed was the Junior Miss Effingham County Fair Queen pageant. I have wanted to do that since I was very little. I did it for the first time in 2015, and I got second runner-up. The next year after that, 2016, I was not able to because I was in bone marrow transplant with 100 days of isolation. But in 2017, I finally was able to compete, and then I ended up winning. I ended up getting Junior Miss Effingham County Fair Queen. That was where Crowns Fight Cancer was born. It was whenever I really knew I have this crown, I need to use it way more than anyone before me. I need to raise awareness for childhood cancer. I want to help kids who are in my position achieve quality of life, be able to live their life to the fullest, be able to just live again, not just have their whole reality be a hospital, nurses being poked and prodded, chemotherapy. That should not be their reality.
Summit of Cotopaxi. We're 19,000 feet. Time for the kids, baby.
There are things that you can do that involve your time. They don't have to be your money. Sometimes it's just phone calls to your representatives to say this needs more funding, this is underfunded, or this is a policy issue that could be really important. So I think everybody operates in different spheres and different layers of influence, and whether that's a one-on-one connection or whether it's big national goals, I think there's a place for everybody to get involved so we can do better at this.
Well, what do you think? Did switching the summit convince you that 4% is just not enough? I know it did for all of us working on that project. Because of the treatments invented at St. Jude Hospital, life expectancy for a child diagnosed with cancer has grown from 20% to over 80%. And that's why we're here today. We're asking you to donate to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. 100% of your donation will go directly to St. Jude to help them carry on their mission. Our next film that we want to show today, More Than a Crown, was based off of our 7th annual Climb for the Kids, Alaska. And in this project, we wanted to tell more of Elizabeth Widener's story. Like Alec, Elizabeth was diagnosed with cancer at a very young age. And about the time we were leaving for Alaska, she was running out of available treatments. Elizabeth was on all of our minds for this entire climb. And a lot of the ideas for the film project you're about ready to watch came from base camp. When I came home from Denali National Park, I went to see Elizabeth. I delivered a check for her Crowns Fight Cancer initiative and told her all about the trip. What I didn't know was that would be one of the last times I ever got to see her. I now present to you More Than a Crown, Elizabeth Widener's story, and why she was such an advocate on raising money and awareness for children just like her battling cancer all the way until the end.
All right, ready? Here we go. Let's do something fun in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I hope that everything I have done, sharing my story, wasn't for nothing. I hope that I was able to inspire other people to fight the fight. I hope that other people maybe hold their families a little tighter and never let them go.
Good evening. It is time for the weather. Below 10,000 feet this evening, isolated snow showers and flurries are possible. A low pressure system will be arriving tomorrow midday, and the forecast is calling for increased winds above 14K and chances of snow below 10K.
One of the worst fears of any parent is for your kids to get terminal illness. I have 3 kids of my own, and they're my whole world. So when I met Elizabeth and Alec for the first time, seeing 2 kids suffering from something most adults can't comprehend, I decided I wanted to climb mountains to help raise money and awareness for kids fighting cancer. When you start a company, it's tough to think about anything else. But after getting over that hump, the natural instinct was to start looking for ways to share our success. I had never done anything like it, and everyone in my world thought I was crazy. But it's funny how quickly an idea becomes real when you have good people around you. And that's how the Climb for the Kids was born.
A Dutopolis high school student has made it her mission over the years to inspire kids with cancer, all while suffering from it herself.
We had the opportunity to talk with Elizabeth Widener.
My dearest friend, Elizabeth Widener.
Elizabeth Widener has been battling cancer for all of her teenage years.
Elizabeth Widener has had neuroblastoma for 4 years, but just last week, she started treatments for new cancer spots on her spine.
Students, friends, and even people who don't know her have been finding ways to support her. Widener is going to lose her hair from the new treatment, but so will some other people, and it's to raise money for her family. She's kept her spirits high during the fight by becoming an honorary Illini cheerleader and being a WCIA Kid to Know.
It means so much to us to have that support behind us and know that, we're not, as the t-shirt said, no, in this town, no one fights alone.
Her dad says Widener's new treatment has been tough, but she's still fighting.
Just continues to amaze us at the things that she does. Very proud of her. She's my hero, so.
It can be hard sometimes to understand why this is happening. But I will never lose hope or faith.
One of the worst things about childhood cancer is the injustice of the whole thing. But when you see a kid live like Elizabeth, you can't help but to see some purpose in the pain.
I use my crown as a platform to speak out to influential people and politicians to educate them about what we have to go through in our day-to-day lives to get them to be able to help us.
Seeing a kid channel that pain and fear into hope and advocacy for others really holds a mirror up to your own life.
Worldwide, 91,250 children die each year.
Only 4% of the federal funding goes towards childhood cancer, and that is unacceptable.
Everyone on this climb is here for their own reason because everyone's been affected by cancer in some way. But the one thing that unites us all was thinking about Elizabeth and her struggle every day.
You are such a warrior, and you are a voice for so many kids who are going through their fight.
I think that's one of the many ways that Elizabeth touched everyone around her. She really helped people engage in the world a different way.
I am very determined to beat this, and I'm very determined to help other kids beat it as well, to make their journey easier. I pretty much never give up.
In March of 2021 of this year, I found out that there was really nothing more that we could do, and that I am terminal. They don't know for sure when it's gonna happen, but I may not be here much longer. That's why we need more funding and treatment, so that kids like me don't have to worry about if they're gonna make it to college or not. Or the younger ones don't have to worry about if they're gonna be able to grow up and make it to high school at all. However, I'm going to continue to live and spend time with my family, advocate as much as I can up until my very last breath.
Today I rise for Resolution 528 to honor the life of Elizabeth Ann Widener. At age of 12, Elizabeth was diagnosed with stage 4 high-risk neuroblastoma. She battled this horrible disease with grace, determination, and strength for nearly 6 years.
I don't know where that child got her life from. I gave birth to her and I don't know how she did it.
She's a hero in every sense of the word. She's a warrior, a battler.
She touched so many lives. She is truly an inspiration, an example of what a person should do in life.
Not a doubt in my mind that her goal in life was to better each one of your lives, whether you realize it or not. She gave her heart freely. She wasn't vain. She didn't do it for the awards. She did it because it was her. It will always be her.
Fly high, E. We would ask this chamber to observe a moment of silence in honor of her memory.
I hope that everything I have done with advocating, sharing my story, wasn't for nothing. I hope that I was able to inspire other people to fight the fight. I hope that other people maybe hold their families a little tighter and never let them go.
Wasn't Elizabeth amazing? Such a beautiful, bright, intelligent young lady who could have gone on to do so much more in life. But unfortunately, that life was cut short at the age of 17 by childhood cancer. We must do more. We can do more. And that's why today we're asking you to make a donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Later this week, I'll be joining a team of 7 as we travel to South America for our 8th annual Climb for the Kids. We will be attempting to summit the tallest mountain in Ecuador, Chimborazo. At over 20,000 feet, it will be our biggest mountain yet. And although we're not certain where this film project will go, we are certain that the money you donate today will truly help the battle against childhood cancer. Please consider making a donation now. You can text the word CLIMB to 53555 or scan the QR code located on the screen. 100% of your donation goes directly to St. Jude. I hope you enjoyed both of our film projects, and I truly hope it helps open your eyes and your wallets to help those children battling for their lives. Thank you very much.
At Keep Climbing Foundation, we're all about pushing limits and changing lives. We've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for our charitable partners so far, and we're pushing ourselves to do more each and every year. We don't climb for the challenge. We climb for the kids.